Happy November 30th, everyone, the last day of November. Today is the feast of St. Andrew. Andrew, as we know, was one of the first disciples along with his brother Peter. And so we celebrate today and we hear about his calling today in the gospel. And I think for us, Andrew is a wonderful example of discipleship and a great example or of someone we can look to, turn to as we are doing our preparations during this Advent season. So, three things about Andrew that are laudable or something that we should try to imitate. The first is that, so Andrew finds out about Jesus through John the Baptist. He was first a disciple of John the Baptist. And so he sees John the Baptist point to Jesus and say, "Behold the Lamb of God." And Andrew, with childlike faith, sees and believes. He sees Jesus and he's able to say, that really is the Messiah. That's a beautiful quality that Andrew had that we can cultivate as well, that this childlike faith, the faith to say, Lord, show me your presence, and when you do appear, help me to see and believe. So Andrew had that already. So that's one thing, this childlike faith to see the presence of Jesus and believe in that presence. It's a great thing to pray for when we're at Mass, to see the Eucharist and say, Lord, reveal yourself to me there. Even though I can't see you physically in human form, I know you're present here in the Eucharist. Second thing is that Andrew leaves his nets. So we hear about him and his brother Simon leaving their nets and following Jesus. So their nets are their livelihood. They're fishermen. This is what they do for a living. They leave that behind to follow Jesus. This is a great metaphor for us when there are so many things in our lives that we have to leave behind in order to follow Jesus. If we don't, then we're not really following Jesus. We're not following Jesus with everything we've got. I recently heard a good definition for an idol. An idol is anything that we have to consult before following Jesus, before obeying Jesus. That kind of puts it in perspective for us. If I have to say, let me go check on this before I follow you, Jesus, well, that's not really following Jesus. Or really, that whatever that is, it's something that we put above Jesus. And so he's able to totally leave that behind, his livelihood to follow the Lord. And finally, he brings others to Jesus. In the Gospel of John, we hear how Andrew brings his brother Peter to Jesus. Say, we found the Messiah. Come and see him. When I was preparing for seminary, or when I was discerning that, there would be these things called Andrew dinners. I don't think they have them anymore around here, but they'd call them Andrew dinners because they were dinners where a priest or someone else would invite a guy to come and see more about the priesthood, come see more about this life where you are to be in persona Christi. And so those are three things about Andrew that we can imitate that can help us during our Advent preparation, to see with eyes of faith, to leave everything behind to follow Jesus, and to bring others to know him, to see him, to know the Lamb of God.